everyone, welcome back to the Tiger Den. And me, get easily distracted? No, never! I wouldn't. I apologize for the slightly longer intro. I was doing a few things for my watercolor class this Saturday, as well as just kind of catching up on some text messages and things like that were from the show this last weekend. Anyway, hello everyone. I hope you guys have been well. I apologize for not streaming in like 2 weeks. I have been sick, well, sick in the mental health way, not sick in like the physical way. But I've been sick, I've been stressed, I've been pushing to get stuff done for the convention. And a lot of it was painting, but I couldn't bring myself to get up the stairs, so I was painting downstairs, and I don't have a good setup to paint downstairs and stream it to you guys. So I apologize about that. I did have a lot of people at the convention who enjoyed the art and had fun. I learned I need to work on more fan art, so that way I can give some more variation and options and not just my original work. That way I can sell a little bit more. Past that, I do believe it went really well overall. I did make back the table plus some, so yay there. Not enough to pay for all my supplies and materials, but enough to make it worth it to go again next year. Don't mind me, I've been working on a coffee for like, I don't know, 4 hours now. I got a big coffee because it's pumpkin spice season again. So, you know, basic bitch time. But I had a ton of fun. I hope you guys... I do apologize again that I was not here and streaming a lot for you guys, but I'm going to try again to fix it. Whether or not I will successfully fix it, that's the question. I am going to be doing some testing today. I have decided I want to prioritize the Windsor and Newton postcard for the gallery display before that gallery display is no longer a display. But there's a few things I want to try. This one is the official postcard. As you can see, it's got the back where it has all the postcard stuff. This one is an extra postcard that came with it, so I'm going to use it to test because they're the same paper. So if it works on this one, it'll work on that one. So the big test is going to be using this, the isopropyl alcohol. I am going to try and use this isopropyl to create a natural bubble on my paper. I'm hoping it'll work because the way isopropyl works, it just kind of... It takes away the color in you'll see. I don't know how to describe it because I don't know how to describe it. I did forget to start my activation on my watercolor. That's why I just sprayed it now. But while that is activating, let's go ahead and get this as wet as possible. Because as you guys know, my background, I like to do a nice blurry kind of natural fade on it. And that is best done with wet paper. So we are just going to wet this as much as possible. And the isopropyl trick does require the paper and paint to still be wet. I'm hoping it doesn't leak too much. So one of the things I learned that you can do to help the bubbling of the paper is to also wet the other side. But with that, all that wording there, I don't want to bleed it or make it disappear or anything like that. So I'm hoping with just this artist tape, I can keep it flat enough that it doesn't bubble and then cause issues where the bubbles don't sit right. So now that we've got that done, I'm going to go ahead and take some of this blue and we're just going to slowly bring it in. I'm going to do a corner this time. So instead of having my lightest color that streaks out in the center, I'm going to do it on the corner and see if that kind of helps as well. I'm just taking that blue and I'm just kind of slowly adding it in, blending it up, making it a little thicker so we can make it a little darker as we go down. And just kind of getting that nice gradation. Next, I'm going to take the next blue color, which is this one. We're going to take that one and bleed it in. This is a much darker blue, so it does have a little bit more depth to it immediately instead of just that light blue coming down. I should probably uncap that so I can be quick with it. Just going to kind of darken it as we go along. Then the final blue, I'm going to skip my turquoise here and go straight for the darkest blue. And then finally, we'll add a little bit of purple at the very bottom. in the corners. We're going to take some of that dark purple. We're just going to blend it in there. This gives it a nice dark feel into it. Pull some of that blue into it just to kind of make it a little bit more bluey purple. Oh, my nose itches. I don't know why. So next step is we're going to go ahead and pull the sun streaks through. Now the sun streaks are going to be a little kind of different here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, just a touch. I'm going to add it up here. I'm going to lighten it up a little bit more, because I got it a little too much yellow here. Just to give that kind of nice sunny feel here. There, and then the streaks are coming out of it. Now for the isopropyl. This is where it's going to get tricky. So I'm going to just kind of spray this a little bit. Oh, that was a big spray. Okay, that just happened. So we're going to kind of blend this a little bit back together. So that might not have worked as much as I wanted it to. That was a little too fine a mist is my problem. It is creating that nice bubble look right where I wanted it to. So I'm going to do a few drips down here. Come on, drip. Guess I got to touch it here. So as you can see with these drips, what the bubbles kind of look like that I was going for. So I think with the fine bubbles up here, it'll work really nicely. So the fine mist was a little too much, but I think it's going to create a nice effect here. A little bit better than I am anticipating, because it is getting that bubble here. I could probably have also used salt for this effect, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So there we got our little bubbles, and we're gonna let that dry. Like I said, it's a little bit more than I would have liked, but I think I can work with it, because it is causing a little bit darker colors right where it kind of sprayed and kind of spread it out. And then I think if I go over it with a white fine line around the bubbles, it'll cause a much more significant effect. I am going to do the white fine line before doing the jellyfish, just that way I can have the line behind the jellyfish, and then I can have some in front of the jellyfish. So once that's dry, I will try that. I'm going to go with a 1.0 pen. Gel pen, so gels for watercolor. But how have you guys been? As I said, I've been going crazy. I am losing my mind. I have actually met with a person that I'm going to be doing a gallery display with in May of 2027. And as you guys know, May is Mental Health Month. So I was going to display a lot of my mental health pieces. Well, when I met this person the other week, they decided to tell me my stuff was too triggering and to keep it in one small corner and then to do much brighter things everywhere else. So, first of all, it's Mental Health Month. If you're getting triggered, then you need to see a therapist. Getting triggers kind of the point to teach you if you have mental health or not. But who am I to say all that? Anyway. So I've got to make a ton, and I mean a ton of pieces for this display now. I do have a lot of my originals still that I could display, which I might honestly do, but I want to create a lot more vibrant and bright colored stuff. I got to count and see what I have and what I don't have. I do know I need to get a lot of 9x12 frames, which is insane. Like, a lot. How much were they, actually? Now I think about it. I should add them to my cart because I need to get so many. Oh, I did add them. They're $35 for a set of 16. That is not terrible. It's not great. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I have a work text because I gotta be distracted by the work text every time, all the time. Okay. Basically, what I was just discussing with my boss is whether or not anyone signed up for my class yet, which I haven't had anyone sign up quite yet. But that's okay. Some people like to wait until the last second and show up in person because they never know. And I don't blame them for not pre-registering. I did say that they can show up. It's just their spots are not guaranteed. And that's going to be the big difference here. So this white gel pen is working a lot better than I anticipated. I fully expected this to not work at all. That is actually working very nicely. Okay, is there any other ones that I made? I made a few up there. I think I'm going to add some white dots in here just to kind of create more depth with the bubbles. And then once that is fully dry with the dots, I will go ahead and start doing the jellyfish. Which honestly, I am liking this a lot, so I might just start on the Winsor & Newton one and just kind of work on them both together, because we all know my jellyfish themselves are well done. I was just trying to get the bubble effect with the isopropyl, which this is definitely too fine a mist. I don't have a way to make it a smaller, like more refined mist. There are spray bottles that do that, like my purple one, but I don't have one free that I can do isopropyl in. Plus, I don't want to fill all this with isopropyl, because that would absolutely evaporate and be gone by the time I used it again. Okay, so this is warping a little bit. That's okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and start on the official Winsor & Newton one as well. And we're just going to kind of hope and pray that this turns out nice. I know my jellyfish have been done a lot lately, so I really think that I'm going to do really well with them. I did a lot of practice on my jellyfish to try and create something that would have been good for my class, but then my class didn't do it, and it was, long story short. I am also trying to come up with an idea for my class this weekend. That way we have like a second piece that they can work on, but I think I'll be okay with just the one piece of bouquet for now and just do a second piece for my fall stuff. Because the fall one, while it may dry pretty quickly, it will be a little bit more complicated, and I want two different pieces, one that's a little bit simpler and one that's a little bit more complicated on doing it. So that is why I'm thinking that. I just got a lot of blue on that instantly. That's my clean water. My brush was not clean. Shame on me for not having clean brushes. So this, I honestly think, is a really good idea of Winsor & Newton. They are such a popular company, and to be able to display with them is an honor. And the fact that they are letting artists do different postcards, so every time you order with them, you get one of these postcard kits. And the fact they're doing this is so kind and remarkable that a company still cares enough. Oh, that dried. Well, now that I am no longer distracted, that a company cares enough to give people a chance to kind of display what they can do and really show off their skills. Okay, this is not getting yellow enough. It's spreading, and then it gets too yellow, of course. There we go. I'm going to add some more water to that blue. I use a lot of this light kind of cerulean blue. I don't think that's its actual name, but I do use a lot of it. I've refilled it once and it's already getting kind of low. Thicken that. Okay, there we go. Nice gradation there. Come in with the next darkest blue, which needs a little bit more water. This next darkest blue is also getting kind of low, but it's got a weird bubble in it, which I don't get how that worked, because usually bubbles only happen when you make a fresh thing of paint. So for some reason, when I tubed it, it ended up with a lot of bubbles. So I guess when I refresh tubes, I got to make sure I stomp the half pan down to make sure it actually that it actually gets all the air bubbles out. Or it might just be this particular color. That's how it works. Okay, and then we're going to bring that blue down. Okay, and now this is where we have the fun, tricky part. Going to pull out the sun rays. Gotta make sure it's still wet enough to pull the sun rays. Now the fun part of doing the underwater jellyfish is you can mess with the sun rays however you want, and each time it can be a little different. Okay. Now I'm gonna do the spray again. I gotta be careful. I'm gonna hold it a little bit further back. There we go. Okay. And that creates a nice, there we go. I just had to hold it back a little bit more. That's creating a nice bubble effect. And oh my lord, does it smell like isopropyl in here. Holy wow. Spraying that close to my face, I just got a large whiff of isopropyl. I'm gonna add some bigger bubbles like I did last time, where I just take it and just kind of drop it on. Kind of do some varying sizes here. There we go. Clean that off. And then we'll let that dry, and we will add the white gel pen liner for the bubbles. And I think this one's dry enough, yes, that we can start doing the jellyfish. So for the jellyfish, I am going to swap down to my medium brush, if I can find it, just right here. And like always, I have to have iridescent somewhere, so we're going to iridescent the jellyfish, and I'm going to start with the yellow up at the top, with a little bit of bright orange. As you guys know, I like changing the color up because that gives it a little bit more of like a shadow effect. Then we take that clean water. We just bring that color in. And we keep that luminescence by not adding more color to it. The next one, I think I'm going to do green and blue. So I'm going to start with the green. We're going to do the lighter green. That is a little too wet. Not enough pigmentation, so we're just going to drop some more pigmentation into that. Might not have to pull water on that one to bring it in. But I will on this blue. So I like when I do this how the colors kind of combine and create a nice gradient on their own. Okay. And then the last one, I'm going to do purple and red, which I know red should be a little bit more toward the top, but I want a little bit more of a purple on it down at the bottom. Now, I could do a forest jellyfish. I'm kind of impartial to this 3 fur that I got going on most of the time when I do jellyfish. I don't know why. It just seems like a good number and like positioning, in my opinion. Now, I could do a pinkest pink jellyfish, but that doesn't have shine to it. And that's part of why I don't do a pinkest pink. I might add one this time. Who says I can't? I can have my shiny jellyfish and my pinkest pink. Why not? Just kind of bringing that color in here. And let's go ahead and add that pinkest pink. I do have to squirt it again because it does dry out quickly, especially with how little is in there right now. We're just going to add it right here. This kind of creates a little bit of a special, and I'm going to actually do it as one of those like up and down jellyfish, the one that has the bulbs on both ends. So this will be a little bit of a different jellyfish than I normally do. It won't have the tendrils. It'll just kind of have a cylinder body. Now, hopefully, I did mention I went to that convention this weekend. I did release some of the many flyers that that partake in tell of my Twitch channel. So hopefully people will start coming and watching. I do know with the AI force that they did, I already turned it off, don't worry. But with that AI forcing that they're trying to do, I may start transferring to YouTube solely. So if you do have a subscription here, go ahead and cancel it. I appreciate the support you've shown me with it. But I don't want to continue with a company that won't respect my creative process and my creativity in my streams and just want to use it to get as much money as possible. So, for that very reason, I am going to probably be swapping over to YouTube as my throat dies. Don't mind me. My water is like 2 rooms away, so no one hydrate. And if you do, I may be hydrating with coffee instead, because that's totally hydrating. I got a response. Okay. It was an okay, so I don't need to do anything else with it. All right, this should be dry enough, yes, that I can start doing the outlines for the bubbles. And as you can see with the outlines on this one, it does create a little bit of like a behind bubble, which is really, really nice. And the isopropyl did get a little bit bigger. The white is kind of like bleeding out. It's hard to see. But that's okay. It's basically just the blue is going behind it and bleeding in where it should be. So I'm just creating these bubbles here. Getting a little bit more variation in depth. I will be adding some bubbles to the top of the jellyfish as well. I'm just not doing that right now because of the fact that I want to make sure they are fully dry before I do that. I will not be using the isopropyl to make the bubbles on the jellyfish. I will be using a gel pen. The fun part of watercolor is the drawing piece. it takes forever for things to dry. And I know I have a heat gun. I should use the heat gun to make it dry faster, but I also worry that I'm going to burn the paper, which has happened a couple times, which is why I don't do it very often. But I may, just because these jellyfish are going to take forever to dry, because I may have gotten them a touch too wet. So yeah, I'm going to headphone users, go ahead and take the headphones out of your ears. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes, well, like 30 seconds here, and then I'm going to turn on the heat gun, so I don't want to blast anyone in the ears. It gets kind of loud. And warning over. I know that wasn't a full 30 seconds. I apologize. Just kind of drying this. It looks like the yellow and orange is fully dry. The pinkest pink is almost fully dry. Green and blue look pretty good, so now we just need the red and purple. Which is now dry. Let's go ahead and dry this one just quickly. That way, as soon as I'm done with this one, I can move over and do the jellyfish on the other. All right, headphone users, you can put your headphones back in if you took them off completely and didn't hear me. So we're good there. I'm going to spritz down some of these again because they are drying pretty quickly on me. So for this yellow one, we're going to be doing yellow, light orange, and dark orange for the tendrils. So for the current ones, we're just doing the ribbon-like ones. And then once that dries, we'll go back in for the string ones. And then with the green, we'll be doing a dark green tendril for that one. Maybe with a mix of dark blue. Kind of slowly trying to get that ribbon effect, which can be a little tricky to do. Now for the red. And yes, I am letting it bleed between colors. It's not on purpose. It's more of because I can't be bothered to wait for it to dry. Because that would be logical. And for the purple and red one, we're going to use a copper for the thin lines. And then for the pinkest pink, we're just going to go in with that pinkest pink, and we're going to draw 2 lines on either side. We're going to drag that into the middle here, just with a little bit of water to create that center bit. We're going to go in with that pinkest pink and add it to the edges again. Again, this pinkest pink is starting to die because of how little paint is in that palette. There is still plenty of paint, so I don't want to get a new one or even make a new one or anything like that. But it's enough that it does cause problems. Okay, we're going to let that dry. I don't know if I'm going to do the pinkest pink one on the official one, just because it looks kind of odd. I feel like I'd need more of them. I just kind of like my basic jellyfish. So let's go ahead and start with these. We're going to start a little higher up this time. That way we can have a little bit bigger jellyfish. And yes, I know the further away the jellyfish, the smaller it should be. But I do want these to be very noticeable from farther away, because I don't know how close people are going to get to these pieces. And then we're going to do the light green and blue one again. So this one we're going to do a little bigger as well. Just cleaning our brush between colors, just that way I don't accidentally mix them in the pan. Try and make sure it's nice and clean. So again, I don't mix those colors on accident. Starting with that lighter color, bringing it in, and then taking that darker color. Now I could add some dots, and I think I will in some of these, just to kind of create a little bit more variation in the jellyfish. I think I'm going to do it with this one too. And this will cause a little bit more of a kind of like gradiated, kind of blurry piece on the outside. So now we want red. Red's getting kind of low here on water. So we're going to do a nice thick line of red. And this one is going to go off the page because I just did not line that up correctly at all. We're going to kind of bring more purple into it because it's further down. I'm going to bring this in now. So yeah, today is a day of jellyfish. I apologize if you are not interested in jellyfish or have seen my jellyfish 80 times now and just aren't interested in watching it for 81st. I know I do a lot of jellyfish. I have, like I said, I practiced it for my class and ended up not doing it. And then I've done it a lot. I apologize. Okay, so while those dry, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of this glitter purple in this one. If I can get it to pick up. That way it gives a little bit of a shiny glitter. And actually that purple is kind of a nice one that I might do for the line on this one. So for the lines, we do want a nice thin brush. So I'm going to go in with my small round here, which is right here. And we're going to go ahead and add these lines. So I'm going to start with this darker orange. We're just going to add little lines here and there. We're going to add a line along the jellyfish, just like that. Then we're going in with that dark blue. You want to try and keep these thin. I am unfortunately getting it a little bit on the thick side, which is not ideal. There we go. Now I can't decide if I want to do copper or that purple. I think the purple will stand out a little bit more, but the copper is a nice contrasty kind of browny color. I think for the sake of rainbow jellyfish, I'm going to go with the purple. The glitter purple instead of the copper, because it does have a nice contrast into the red and the purple, and that glitter will make it shine just a touch more. And then this one, I need to go in and make a nice dark pinkest pink line. So we're going to try and get this pink on here. We're just going to make a little line along both of these, just to represent that change. That actually doesn't look too bad. Again, the pinkest pink one's kind of weird. I don't know if I like it. It's questionable. I got a messenger message. Okay. That's not important. So I think this one's turning out really, really nice. I think it's going to work out beautifully in the end. I think it's gonna do good. It's gonna do good. I have full confidence that it's gonna do good. So while that is still wet, I know I shouldn't do this while still wet, but it's fine. My yellow is also getting low. It's not gone yet, but I need to consider making more yellow soon. Thankfully, I have plenty of gum arabic. And I have plenty of pans. I haven't made a lot of paint recently because the only paint I really needed was white. And I had to get new white in because I used all of it. How do I pick up this hair? There we go. There's like a hair in my painting and I couldn't get to it. So anyway, I have been using the white for my watercolor class. If you come in and take the class, it is $25. It's in Nashville, Michigan. You get a free handmade watercolor paint that I made myself. It is an iridescent paint. So you do get to make it nice and shiny, just like I do. You don't have to use it, but you can. And then you get to take it home. That is just part of the class experience and the cost that I decided to add in. Mostly because making iridescent paint isn't too expensive. And I like being able to give everyone a little gift of some kind. Alright, it's also getting low. Yellow's lower than red, and my sky blue is pretty freaking non-existent, but I think I have more sky blue already made. I just picked the smaller one to put in here so that way it would go faster. Then that purple again. Okay. So this orange up here looks a little strange, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of clean that up a touch. Add a little bit more dots up here. Okay, now I gotta wait for those to fully dry. This one is almost fully dry, and I'm going to use, again, the heat gun. So everyone with headphones, watch your ears. Giving you a couple seconds to turn off the headphone. I do have the closed captioning, so you guys can still read when it's safe. But I'm going to be turning it on here very shortly so I can dry these two pieces. This one just needs a signature. This one needs all the thin spindlies, and then dry it, and the lines on the jellyfish lids, and then I can dry it and sign it. So, 3, 2, 1. Now, some of this may already be dry if you are still listening, just because the glitter kind of looks a little different, and I may be mistaking that for wet. It looks dry, but I just want to be sure. Try this one. Alright, headphone users, you are safe again. I have got it all dried up. So now we're going to go in and make those thin spindlies again. And the little lines here. Go in with that green. Oop, that has a hair in it. Like all of my paint has hair in it, and I don't know why. I tend to try and pull my hair back while painting or making paint, so I don't know how hair got into it. I don't know if it's my brush or what, like the little strokey lines. Oh, I forgot to do the thing with the jellyfish. That had a hair, but it's fine. right, final one. This one needs a little bit more paint on the brush just because of the fact that it is kind of chunky. There, that is a nice clean jellyfish. Now we just gotta let those dry. And I did forget I was gonna add some bubbles on this one before I dried it out, or I signed it. So let's go ahead and add some bubbles. That way the bubbles are both in front and back of these jellyfish. It looks a little bit more reasonable. Do a bubble right there. Okay. Do one right here, just a small one. I think that looks good. So we got some bubbles behind, we got some bubbles in front. I think that's looking pretty snazzy. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate my black again because it is dried. And we're gonna go ahead and sign. Now I know I've been like flip-flopping on how I sign. Sorry, my throat. How I sign, whether it's a fine liner or paint. I just kind of go with what's available to me, what I'm currently using. I prefer the paint method, but I'm not going to get out my paint just to sign when I have a perfectly good pen. Okay. Now, I don't know if I'm ever going to sell this postcard because people don't really use postcards anymore, which is why it's kind of weird Winsor & Newton chose postcards of all things. But I mean, who am I to judge? Now we're going to add some bubbles on this one. Small one there, big one up here. Add some bubbles to the front, just that way we can get that depth in there, like I said earlier. There we go. Looking snazzy, snazzy. And I know the isopropyl isn't showing up very well with the jellyfish in front. That's okay. It was a test. It wasn't a perfect test, but it was a test. Now we're going to sign this one. Picking up some of that purple because it was still wet. And there we go. Now I just need to register this jellyfish postcard and then stick it in the mailbox and it'll be on its way to the gallery. So I'm going to wait for that to fully dry on both of them before I start going after the paint or the tape. I do have to tape some 9x12s and we're going to be working on some 9x12 jellyfish. I see it only took me about 50 minutes to do these two, but these next ones are going to be bigger. So I'm going to do 2 9x12 at a time. I do have a lot, and I mean a lot, of paintings I got to do. To cover the walls, I'm probably going to need about 30 to 40 paintings, especially if they're all 9x12s. So I'm going to need a lot of paintings for that. And then if they sell, I have to come out and replace them. So I'm planning on having at least 50 paintings on stock, and my boobs are doing weird things apparently, but whatever. So anyway, I'm planning on having at least 50 in stock so that way I can do it, which is why I'm planning 10 jellyfish paintings, which is why I said jellyfish galore for the title. Oh, it's going to be insane. I'm going to be so sick of painting jellyfish. I do also have a plan to do flowers and animals and vary up the options. It's just jellyfish are the most popular for me apparently, and I need to make them work. Okay, this one should be pretty dry. It doesn't take that long for the black to dry. So let's go ahead and release the magic of the clean lines by releasing the tape. Oh, look how pretty that line is. Ugh. It's so crisp and clean, and I love it. You cannot get better than a crisp, clean line. It just makes it feel framed and professional. Tape, get off my finger. Go away. Tape does not want to let me go. Now, it is a bit thick of a border. That's mostly because the tape is a little bit thicker than a postcard would normally use. And the 9x12s are going to have a slightly thinner border in comparison, just because of the size and how much I have to paint. But there we go. There's that tester with the isopropyl. You can still see some of those like dark bubbles up there and right there. And then you see the bubbles behind the jellyfish in front. And I think that came out a lot nicer than my previous jellyfish. I know normally I would shine the bubbles. But personally, I think with the shine of the jellyfish, it would be too much to shine the bubbles as well. So hopefully you guys got a nice view of that. Set that up there. Out of the way. And I know I have my tester strips here and I'm not using them. I don't really need to use them right now because I'm just doing straight colors. I'm not mixing. So that's why I'm not really using... Oh, wait. Why is that not... Did I do that upside down? Oh, well. They'll know how to hang it. It's upside down for my tape. That's about it. It won't matter when it comes to putting up the postcard. So there is this nice clean lines of this jellyfish. And my husband was amazing yesterday and set up a app for me that can help me keep track of what paintings I need to do, what needs to go where, what has to be prioritized, and that type of good stuff. It's called Obsidian. It's a little insane how complicated it was, but my husband dealt with it for the complication, and now it's just basically hit some buttons for me, which I appreciate. But there is the Winsor & Newton gallery display. I hope you guys like it. I am excited to finally have this done and get this posted in the mail and sent to them. Again, I have to register it first before I send it, but that should be no biggie. And now for the big jellyfish. When I say big, I mean freaking big. These are 9x12s. They are huge. So I might do one at a time just because of space on my desk. Yeah, I think I'm going to do one at a time because I cannot get two next to each other. I'm looking at the space on my desk and it's just not going to work. So that's going to be fun. Now again, with the other one, like the other ones, I'm going to tape the edges just because I want to make sure I have that nice crisp line and border. And I'm trying to get it to lay straight across the edge of the paper. That way it'll be the same thickness all the way around. And unfortunately with this tape, I am not strong enough to rip it. I've seen people rip it. I am not that strong. So I use scissors. I need to lay this straight onto me. Okay. So with this one, I'm probably going to play around with sun placement, have it up here, have it over here, have it in the middle. I'm not going to put the sun down at the bottom because then that would be weird. So yeah. Hello, Matt. Congratulations on your first. Thank you for the jellies are great. I'm going to be in jelly hell for a while. I'm guessing you missed it, but I have a show that I'm going to be doing at a brewery in May, and May is mental health month, so I was thinking of doing my mental health paintings. Well, apparently they're too triggering, and I need to restrict it down to like a small corner, but I have to fill the entire brewery with paintings. So I need to get as many paintings as I can done. And I figured since my jellyfish are so popular, I'm going to do 10 9x12s, which is the paper I'm currently working on, which is going to drive me into jelly hell. I won't want to paint a jelly for the rest of my life. It's going to be awful. It's going to 100% be awful. Okay. Now these jellies, like I said, in proportion to the page are going to look like they have a much smaller border. That's okay, just because of the fact that the smaller border will make it look a little bit more... Hi, cat. I hear you. The smaller border will, again, make it look frame, but it'll give that nice, crisp, clean line that I'm looking for. Okay. There is that one, and I have to wet this entire page to do my gradation. I am also thinking, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but for the display, I'm thinking of doing like these postcard size, because I have a ton of postcards now that I'm not going to use. Add like little holes on each one and do like a series of 3 or 4 and sell them that way. I don't know if I'm going to actually do that. I am leaning that way just because of the fact that'll give me more pieces in shorter amount of time than doing a 9x12. Damn, that would make for a very fun show. Oh no. Wait, what would make for a fun show? What did I say? I don't remember what I said. So with this one, like I said, if I wanted to avoid the warping, I could water the other side of this piece, but I am not going to do that. No, I'm going to actually use the mop brush for this, just to get this nice and wet faster. The mop brush holds a decent amount of water, so that's how you can get things wetter faster. I know that sounds weird. That's what he said, she said, I don't know. Either way, I know it sounds weird. And then I am going to use the mop brush to get the colors on as well. Just that way I can get those colors on a lot faster while it's still wet. So I'm going to start with that yellow. Right in the corner here. We're going to start with the same corner that we did the postcard jellyfish. Apparently get some of that purple in it, because I don't know how to keep a mop brush in one color. Actually, I don't, because it's a big brush. And then we need some blue here. I had to wet it just to get it a little bit more pigmented. And I do want this to actually have some pigment to it, so I don't want it too light. With this being bigger, I do have to use more of that pigmentation. There we go. There it is. Getting that nice light blue. Then we're going to go in with a darker pigmentation. So we're probably going to have to dip a lot in this. We don't want it to be the same lightness as the one above. We want it to be a little darker to suggest going deeper in the water. Okay, next blue. This one is going to be a little hard to pick up. It's like I said, it's got this weird outclove going on the top here. Now this is going to take forever to dry, so we're going to have a nice chatting moment. Honestly, I may not be able to finish this piece. These 9x12s are going to take forever to dry. That's the downside. I can use my heat gun, and I very well may, to speed it up. Just because I do want to get onto the extra levels and not have to worry about dry time too much. I have been working on an acrylic piece lately. I am not going to necessarily show you guys because I've been working on it off stream, and it's a very personal piece. It doesn't have any personal details on it yet. It will. But it's basically an Eevee and a Triforce, and I've been struggling with getting the roses on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a date on it, which is the personal information, which you guys don't get to see. But I'm going to put a date on it, and I want to surround that date with roses. Well, the roses have been a pain in my butt because I don't think I've ever done acrylic roses, honestly. So that's fun. Anyway, so I don't think I've ever done acrylic roses, and I tried to learn it from like a a Skillshare video, and it was weird. It didn't know. So I was going to do a YouTube tutorial, but my boss, where I do the watercolor classes, has offered to teach me there. So that way I can kind of learn the process a little bit. So we're going to add some blue to this purple. There we go. Okay. So that got the mop brush going a little better. I am going to take, instead of the mop brush, well, I'll use the mop brush. We're going to do the streaks this way. My rag is beyond soaked. Yeah, my rag is so soaked. This is not working very well. We're just kind of pulling up some of this paint here in different areas just to create that shine. This will also create a nice layer of beauty in the background. So now we're going to do that mist spray again, and hopefully, there we go. So that gave a nice bubble effect, and then we're going to take it and we're going to drip it on, which this one might not be able to make as big a bubbles with the drip. Just because of the fact it's such a small amount. And again, we are doing these bubbles for the background to give a nice background effect. Some of this is drying already, which is causing the bubbles to come out weird. Okay, there we go. So once those are dry, we'll do the white gel pen, and then we'll start in on the jellyfish, which this is, like I said, going to take forever to dry. So I am going to probably use the heat gun. So once again, anyone that's a headphone user, here's your warning. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to turn off your headphones or take them out of your ear before this very loud heat gun starts up. So we're just going to give it a few more seconds here, and then let's go. The paper is nice and wet and shiny, so it is going to take a long time to heat gun this. I do apologize for the length of time. It definitely pulled in certain areas, and those areas are where I've got to really focus to dry it out. Almost done. Okay. Headphone users that were using closed captioning to see when I am done, so you guys are safe to put your headphones back in. And now, like I said, the next step, like we did on the postcards, is to draw in the bubbles. This will just create those background bubbles that are a little bit more restricted. And we'll draw in some small ones as well. These are just for the big ones. on some dots. Lots of little dots on here. The dots, you kind of got to go with the flow of the dots into like a singular tire. I think the isopropyl might be messing with the gel pen because it is definitely lightning. Just adding a few small bubbles here and there, just to create some difference in sizes. Okay, I think that looks good. Probably should have used a clear acrylic white on these, which I still could technically. But I haven't stopped it yet. I could also use Pete Marchand's bleed proof on these, which would also help. But bleed proof can cause a problem when you put watercolor on top of it. Creates it kind of like chunky and like, I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. It's more like acrylic than watercolor at that point. Okay. Oh, this one just wants to not exist. All right, we'll give that a few seconds to dry, a few minutes, and then we will start in on the jellyfish. I have a lot of fun painting jellyfish for now. Like I said, I'm going into jellyfish hell, so I'm going to hate it soon enough. I don't know what to do with these. Like I said, I'm going to go through jellyfish hell. I don't want to paint so many jellyfish. Why is my stream frozen? Why is my stream frozen? Oh, it's not frozen. It's just frozen on my... Okay. It's just frozen on my dashboard. That is strange. So, if you guys had to see my painting in the wild and be interested in buying one of them, what are some of the things you would like to see in that painting gallery? So would you like a lot of jellyfish? Would you like a lot of flowers? I can't do fan art because this is an original piece gallery, not a fan art gallery. So I can't do any fan art. I do plan on doing a lot of fan art though. This towel is freaking soaked. I'm just gonna get a new one. Apparently it is not cut all the way, and I'm dropping everything trying to get to it. Okay. There. New paper towel. Well, it's not paper towel. It's a rag. It's a heavy-duty lint rag. It's got like 300 of them. And it says it lasts 3 times longer than paper shop towels, so I don't know anything about that. I just know it works very well, and I can get a lot done with it. Okay, my mop brush is a little tiny bit wet, just a touch. All right, so the next step is the jellyfish themselves, which I'm going to need the big brush and then my medium brush for the lines. So this time I do want to use the copper. I'm going to go ahead and do red, dark orange, and copper. We're going to just re-wet all of these. And I might actually do a really dark, like a brown, and maybe a gold one. So that way I can use the black, the iridescent black, or yeah, iridescent black I want to do, not the silver. So that way I can do some like dark lines like that. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So now we want to make a nice big jellyfish. And my chair is sliding away. So we're doing some orange. Then we're going to go in with the red. And the red is not going to be taken all the way because I want to end it with that copper. I'm trying to get a lot of nice pigment on here because as we pull it in, it's going to pull some of that pigment out on those edges. I am getting a little bit of issue with the isopropyl. I guess it doesn't dry to a heat gun because the jellyfish is causing a little bit of a like a bubble effect on the edges where the isopropyl is. So that is good to know that that happens. Clean the brush off, then take that clean water and bring it in. Kind of bring that over here. We're just going to color that in. Create that nice line effect. Get a nice orange on there. Okay, so that is not the greatest jellyfish in the world, but it's not bad either. I would like a pink, but I don't have a good pink in my iridescence. I need to make a pink in my iridescence. Like, it needs to happen. So let's go with a blue jellyfish, and I'm going to use yellow for this one for the highlight side. I'm only going to use a little bit of yellow this time instead of having the vast majority of it be yellow. I'm just going to do a little bit on the very top, which means the spindles won't have any yellow to them. They will all be blue. And I'm going to use a sky blue, the light blue, and then go in with the darker blue. So with these ones being bigger, I am aiming for a little bit more color variation between them. Just to create kind of more of a shadow and light effect on it. Oops, too dark. Now, as you can see with the gel pens, the watercolor is also having struggles going over that. That's to be expected. We're just using that water to bring in these colors. We are cleaning the brush for the yellow sides. That way I don't get a green where I don't want it. So I will get some green, but I don't want it too far over here. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow on this side. Now some of these jellies are going to have the dots on them. Some of them aren't. This one I'm going to start with is not going to have those dots on them. And they are very, very wet. Like this blue one is super wet. So I don't know if I'm going to wait or if I'm going to make it dry. This is part of why I haven't been streaming my painting process, because a lot of my painting is quite actually taking forever to dry just because of the size of them. This jellyfish is going to be a little flat. It's fine. Everything is fine. I'm going to use a dark brown for this one, and this is the one where I'm going to use the black for the thin spindlies. This one I might actually drip some drops into. No, I'm going to drip some drops into this one. It is still wet, so. There we go. That looks good. Now we're going to pull that purple in. Leave that little bit of unwashed paint in the highlight area. Kind of layer this down a little bit. And this one, I think I'm also going to add some dots. I'm going to add some black dots. Just kind of get that dark color in there. Now we get to wait for it to dry. Oh, fun. I could do one more jellyfish right here, I suppose. I don't know what color to make it. I kind of want to stick with the 3 for now and just keep the 3 tradition going on. I don't know why I like that composition, but I do. And I always have the 2 on the right and the 1 on the left. Again, I don't know why. And my throat, I know, is dying. I am so sorry, guys. I'm trying to fix it. Stream may end a little early today, just because I have been feeling exhausted lately. I have been really struggling to get things done, and I'm trying so hard to get everything focused and everything done, and that's part of why my husband made the Obsidian task list for me yesterday, is just to keep me on track and make me recognize what I do and don't need. And I think, yeah, I am going to go ahead with these postcards, and I'm going to do like a 3 stack, so I'm going to do 2 more of these of jellyfish. And then I think I'll do some like paint pet portraits and things like that, because these are small, they dry quickly, and I can just do like little hole punches and then tie them together with like a twine or something, which will be really pretty. For those that don't have a big space to put their art, basically. Ow! Pat, don't hydrate me. It's on the other side of the house. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll go get my water. Ah, water achieved. I shall hydrate as I walk back. Ah, water. There, I took like 4 sips. Now, once again, I could use the heat gun to dry this faster. I'm tempted to. Am I going to? Probably not. Huzzah! Yes, huzzah. I'm going to go ahead and just go straight for the squiggly tendrils. Okay. Do one more here. Then go in with that red. Do a couple red ones. The wetter it is, the better the squiggliness of it is. Then we're going to do a couple copper. Now, I do also, within the next 3 weeks, have to do some trading card pieces. I'm not going to stress doing those right now because I do have about 3 weeks to do them, but one of these weeks I'm going to be like freaking out as I do them. It's only 8 trading cards, but I feel like it's going to so much more. It's going to take so much work. That's how I've been feeling. Like freaked out over all the work I have to do. I am about, oh goodness, 8 trading cards, 7 12 by 12, 8 12 by 12s, and 2 7 by 10. So I'm like, I don't know, 10 behind right now. No, I'm way more than 10. I'm probably like 20 pieces behind right now in painting. And here I am painting something that is not pre-sketched. Part of why I'm not worried about the 7x10s is one of the 7x10s is a commission piece that I have not been paid for yet. So I have it sketched and I can easily paint it for like fan art stuff. So I will eventually paint it, but I'm not going to rush it right now just simply due to the fact that the one person that wants it and is like the guaranteed sale hasn't been able to pay for it yet. It is $25 for a 7x10 or an 8x10, depending on if I can use a canvas or not, or if I have to use my watercolor paper. In this case, it was watercolor paper. So there's that. And then the other 7x10 I have currently is also a fan art piece. This one is not commissioned, but I'm probably not going to need it for my next convention, as it is a very game-specific convention. While yes, it would probably be nice, it's not as big a deal, and I need to focus more on the Rat Pig trading cards than I do the, Tales of trading cards. They're the mascots of Tales. Then I need to do worrying about any of, like, Luffy is the one I have. It's a one-piece Luffy jump roping a dragon. I think it was like Kaiden or something like that. It was my kid's request. Just know it was my kid's request. That's all you need to know. But I have a nice list of fan arts I could do. I do have like Inuyasha on there, Sailor Moon. I don't know why I haven't done any Sailor Moon yet. I don't think I've ever drawn Sailor Moon, to be honest. You would think, being an anime fan, I would have drawn things like Sailor Moon. I did do some Inuyasha. I have not done Dragon Ball ever, which I do plan on doing. I do have a couple of famous animes, but if you guys can think of any famous animes that I probably didn't think of, let's be honest, I'd be happy to hear about them. So that way I can sketch them out and make them part of the stock, the options. I am going to go through on my originals binder and start writing down on each picture what original size it is so people can get an idea of the cost. Because that is one major thing I have not done, is write out the cost of things. I'm probably going to go over that with black now that I think about it. I am sleepy. I am tired. It has been a long, long, long week. Well, a couple of weeks. I have been doing so much, and I am just, guys, I can't keep up. Hey, wait. Is that someone on YouTube? What? I heard the word jellyfish. What kind of paint are you using? Oh my gosh, hello person on YouTube. I apologize. My thing is super tiny, so let me go ahead and raise that bigger. Hello, I did not expect someone to actually be in my YouTube stream. Hello. The paint I'm using is watercolor. I do like using acrylic from time to time, but my main medium is watercolor. I am flabbergasted. Hello. Welcome to the Tiger Den. I don't do things well, and I don't pay attention to chat very well either. Yeah. But the paint is watercolor paint, and yes, jellyfish is fun to paint. I have painted them so many times that a lot of people like my style of jellyfish. I got some way to go to make them really realistic, but they are definitely luminous, and a lot of the iridescent that the jellyfish are made with is my own custom blend that I make. I'm just going to say a million times now, because you have flabbergasted me. You have thrown me off my game. Anyway, so the jellyfish are something that I have done a lot, and I try to make work. This is still very, very wet, so I'm not going to do the thin tendrils yet. I'm going to headphone user warning, because I want it to dry, and I want to finish this piece. So, headphone users, here's a warning. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds-ish to take out your headphones or turn it down, because I'm about to use a heat gun, and it's very, very loud. So I'll give you guys a little bit here, and here I go. Thankfully, I have the closed captioning for those headphone users that don't want to have the sound on or have the headphones completely out of your ear. I will let you know as soon as it is dry. Thankfully, it dries pretty quickly as long as there's not a big puddle, which I do tend to do a lot. We're just going to dry this out. This is a large puddle right here. It's going to take a while. This puddle here kind of combines the red, the purple, and the blue all in one. I do have to be careful with the heat gun because it can burn the paper. So I got to move it around a decent amount. And the nice thing about what I did with the isopropyl alcohol to make the bubbles along with the gel pen is you can see those bubbles through the tendril. And it looks like on this end, at least from this end, that the bubbles are actually poking through. Throat! Please! Be my friend today. But it looks like the bubbles are poking through, so there are some in front of the jellyfish and not just behind. So I may not have to go in and add more bubbles in front of the jellyfish. Almost fully done. Just got one little puddle left here. It's so close. Okay, there's that one. Doing a little bit of wavy wave to make sure I got all of it. And it looks good. All right, headphone users, you should be safe to come back now. All right, now we're going to do, oh my gosh, my head. We're going to go ahead and do the small tendrils and the lines on the jellyfish. So for this top one, I wanted to use this dark brown that we used on the lower one. Oop, that needs a little bit more water. Now, the wetter the watercolor paint is, the smoother it is, but it's also a little bit more transparent when you do that. I'm still flabbergasted that I actually have someone on YouTube. Hello again. I appreciate you. I know you missed it earlier, but I'm going to be moving primarily to YouTube as my Twitch is now wanting to do all the AI. So I will be transitioning to solely YouTube. So again, for those on Twitch here, go ahead and end your subscriptions after this month. I don't care if I lose some money, like 20, 30 bucks from Twitch. That is worth it to not have my stuff taken and used for AI. Hopefully I can convince Twitch to just pay me and not wait for the 50. That's what they usually do. They wait until you get 50 bucks and then they'll pay you. All right, now for that dark purple, well, bluish purple. It's called Blue Magic, and it's supposed to be like a violet, but it's blue. It is in the paint color kit that I got, which isn't really a kit, it's just mica powders. Oh no, you learned my secret. My iridescent paint is using mica powder. Oh no, anyway. In the mica powder kit, this was the only purple or closest thing they had to purple, so I actually had to custom design my purple with this magic color. Magic violet is what they called it, and some red. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the lines again. I always forget to do the lines to show the bell curve of the jellyfish. I don't know why. You would think that'd be the first thing I do. Okay, and I have to redo that one's bell curve because I was going to make it black, and then I painted it with brown, and I don't know why. Now we're going to... I kind of like the black tendrils. Feels a little bit more evil, I guess. We're going to right over that brown. Right over that brown. Now again, I like making my jellyfish very iridescent. I just love the shine and I love all the prettiness of it, if you will. Yeah, I don't have much to say. I don't have many words. I just realized that's still soaking wet right there. I didn't dry that. That's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Oh, hello. I am surrounded by cats right now, guys. Well, I guess 2 of them did disappear, actually. I was surrounded by cats. A very good reason. Matt, I'm not paying attention to my chat. What was a very good reason? I am totally paying attention. No, you may not jump in my lap. No. I see those plans. I see the cogs turning. The answer is no. The stopping Twitch due to AI. Yes. Okay. Yes. That is a good reason. So yeah, just anyone subscribed, unsubscribe. I appreciate you guys doing the ad-free viewing. If you want to continue watching a lot of Twitch and getting ad-free, just do the turbo where it's like $8 for no matter who you watch. But a lot of people are probably going to start moving off of Twitch because they are forcing the AI. As I said earlier in the stream, I did already turn it off. So hopefully they aren't using my stream for AI, but a lot of people have found that it keeps getting turned back on with updates, which is frustrating for everyone. Because when you turn it off, it should stay off, and I don't feel like it should continue existing with that in mind. So that's how we're kind of playing this right now. All right, it looks mostly dry except for this giant puddle right here. A little bit of dry or wet spots there. I should be able to sign it. I just worry about this dry spot or wet spot here. Yeah, it's hard to see the background, especially with how light it is. I may have to make this a little bit more pigmented up here just to get a little bit more of a coloration difference. Get it to like down here's level and then darken it down. Yeah, I may have to do that. I'll try that with the next one. I also need... I think I'm going to do the postcard trick because those take so much less time to do. So much less time. And I need to kick out these paintings fairly quickly. Here in a second, I am going to pause painting so that way I can start marking off some things on my checklist of things that I have done. But first, I'm going to sign this. I remember when I had my my watercolor sketchbook, and I tried to sign it as small as I could the first few times, and I took it into my boss, the owner of the studio I teach watercolor classes at, which isn't really my boss, but I basically pay to rent the space, so they're not paying me, I'm paying them. But she looked at it, and her first comment was, "Your signature is a little too big." And then she changed the page, and she's like, "Never mind, this is much better." And I'm like, now I'm paranoid that my signature is too big, and I constantly do it super, super small now. It's funny. All right, I'm going to do a headphone user warning because I want to get this spot right here dry. The other places look pretty good. This one's already almost dry. Like, it's dry enough that I'd peel the paint. But I want to get this spot dry enough so that way I can peel the tape, peel the paint, peel the tape. I meant tape on both of those. So here's your headphone user warning. Giving you a few more seconds. And here I go. Yes, I know I go quiet during this part. It's really loud, so I don't want to talk too much. I know I have the closed captioning, but I feel like that's not enough to really explain away what I'm trying to say. There we go. Kind of do a little bit of a last coloration here. All right, it is all dry, so there is piece number 3 of Jellyfish. I think I'm going to do, since we only have about 25 minutes left, unless I end stream early, I'm thinking about doing 2 more postcards of the Jellyfish. Oh, what to do. Or I may end stream early, because, again, I'm exhausted. I am so burnt out. I slept for I think nearly 14 hours on Sunday because I was up for 22 hours on Saturday between the convention and having like 6 caffeine drinks because I forgot my medication. So I needed the caffeine to stay awake, and then I stayed up all freaking night, which is not normal for me drinking caffeine. It was also partially anxiety that kept me awake. So yeah. I've just had a rough week, and I knew I needed to stream because it's been like, what, 20 days since I streamed last? Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Matt. I shall hydrate. It's been nearly 3 weeks since I last streamed. And my water is almost out, so I may end here just because my water's out, and I'm going to use that as a reference. Now, the isopropyl on the bubbles does look good on the bigger ones. Oh, I need to do more bubbles on front. Do some small bubbles here and there. I forgot to do the bubbles again. Don't mind me. I did the background bubbles and then I didn't do the foreground. I'm good at that. On the plus side, a lot of the background bubbles do look like they're in the foreground because of how transparent these jellyfish are. So that's good. Just kind of, oops, I didn't mean to do one there. I will have to, nope, I can pull that up with my finger. Okay, we're good. Just kind of looking where it looks good. There we go. There. So I don't want to go too crazy with the bubbles. I don't want to overload it. There we go. Now I got bubbles on the front and in the back. It doesn't look that bad. Make this one a little bit thicker here. I feel bad. I think the YouTube person left because I wasn't paying attention, and now I feel awful. There. Try and get that bubble a little bit more bubbly. I don't think it worked, but it's fine. Everything is fine. This one needs to be a little thicker because I didn't draw a very good circle. There we go. All right, I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and peel the tape. The gel pens, we don't have to worry as much about drying. So as you can see, the border in perspective to the postcards is a lot smaller. And it looks like I didn't have it completely on the edge because this edge has a little bit of paint on it, which is okay. I mean, no one's going to really notice it that well. I will because I know it's there, but at first glance, it's not super noticeable. So to make up for the lack of streams the last few weeks, I am probably going to, or at least I'm going to attempt to, stream tomorrow as well, and then stream Friday. Best I can. I am not promising anything with how life has been going lately. I will do the best I can, just that because I missed the last 3 weeks, and I really want you guys to be able to enjoy some streams. Yeah, this is looking good. It's not my best creation, it's not my worst, but it's something that at least gives the wall some brighter color and feeling, while still giving that kind of floaty I don't know, I can't twist this into mental health. I'm so irritated that my mental health pieces are too triggering. It's mental health. It's not supposed to be sweet and innocent and happy and preppy. Ugh, that's why I picked Mental Health Month, of all things. That's why I picked it. But no, it's not good enough. Anyway, I'm going to stop my bitching now. And I'm probably going to take this water... No, I'm going to leave the watercolor palette up here. because I'm going to try to paint tomorrow. At the very least, I'm going to paint Friday. I do need to try and hit the gym at some point this week. I haven't been going to the gym either. I went last week. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. So it's been over a week, and I need to go to the gym again. It's been a long day. It's been a long time. Anyway, I think I'm going to end here. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to end here. I got to do the checklist stuff for my obsidian, so that way I can mark that I have 1 jellyfish done. I have the Winsor & Newton done. I'm going to count this as a third of a painting for jellyfish, because like I said, I want to do like a 3-stack and just kind of have it like a hanging thing. I may get some cardboard to put behind it, just to keep it a little bit almost like it's framed and have a little bit more structure to it, so it's not too loose. I don't know. I'm going to try and look for cardboard that is already pre-cut. Otherwise, I'll probably use some like Amazon boxes or something. Anyway, I think I'm doing okay right now. I have been doing a lot of gaming again, which is concerning me. I am trying to stick away from it. I've been reading too. But I just am so burnt out and fried, I just don't want to think. So I've been doing a lot of like non-thinking gaming. Mainly farming sims like Disney Dreamlight Valley and Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I don't know why I have that game, but I have it. So yeah, I think we had a very productive day today. I got about 3 pieces done. I'm going to get that one in the mail so it can get to the display of Winsor & Newton's as soon as possible. I had a good time. I enjoy streaming for you guys. Again, to the YouTube watcher, I apologize that I did not see your comments. 1, my YouTube chat was super freaking tiny, and I'm used to just seeing my automated messages. 2, you flabbergasted me because you showed up, and I was not expecting someone to show up, so I apologize again. Anyway, I had fun today. I love you all. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow is my goal again. And yeah, I think that's all I got. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow.